I'm still waiting for the main cap bolts on this motor, and while I'm waiting, I'm going to make a start on the bodywork itself. The first thing I'm going to do is strip everything off of this car that needs to be stripped off in prep for that bodywork and paint. If you want to follow along in that process, stick around. I'm going to start with something highly complex and integral, and possibly even structural, in removing these mud flaps. Exhausting. Time to take a break. While we're on the front end here, I'm going to take off these little filler panels. They're actually plastic, and I've got new reproduction ones that I'm going to replace these with. I've also got new side marker lights as well. These ones aren't cracked or broken or anything like that, but they've got shitty overspray all over them from the last dodgy paint job. A couple of Phillips head screws here on the bottom side, fastening it as well. Take out this marker light, and I think that's ready to come off. Voila! Get rid of this side marker light. That is crusty. Now I'll move on to the door. Got to get rid of this here little sticker. That is not period correct for this car. This is the 87 and 88 decal. The 86 model, which this car is, has Monte Carlo SS elongated. I got a bit of thinners here. Let's wipe this down and see what we got left. Not a whole heck of a lot. That's it, sticker gone bye-bye. Now I've got to get this handle, door lock, trim, and mirror off this door. And for all of the above, I got to take off this lovely 1980s velour panel. First things first, take off the door lock. One quality plastic door lock. Next, off with this door handle mechanism. Far out, there's tiny shards of glass in the slots in those Phillip head bolts that have obviously shot over from the passenger side. Look at that, that is full of glass shards. All right, now for our main panel here. Pop the panel off, it's held in with these little trim clips. Last but not least, this little grab strap. These things were constantly falling off on the Monte Carlo that I had when I was back in high school. Disconnect this power window switch back here. Panel A off. Panel B. Disconnect its switches as well. Somebody has gone to a lot of trouble to preserve this inner door area. They painted that piece, not exactly sure why, maybe just to stop the rust, and they painted it with a brush. And there comes our lower panel. All right, let's unwrap the entombed mummy. I do have the replacement cardboard door card that goes back behind here as well, so I'm not too concerned about mangling this up a little bit. Well, I hit a little bit of a roadblock trying to get that mirror out. To get to those bolts is virtually impossible with this glass in place. And I don't want to hook the battery up for obvious reasons. So I'm just going to put that in the too hard basket at the moment and move on. Let's move on to the trim around these T-tops. Now that I've got these T-tops opened, I can move on to removing this little bit of molding that sits on the front of the windscreen. Sort of joins the two A-pillars together, I guess. There's a little screw at the end of that clip that's holding this sucker on, and I can't get a screwdriver in there because it's behind this piece here. And I got no idea what's holding that on. That is solid as a rock. So maybe I can get a pair of needle nose in here and turn this sucker. It's turning. Hope I've got the clearance. Yeah, damn. It's butting up against this now. Far out, what a ball ache. Time to go down a very slippery slope. I'll undo these and see whether if I remove this panel, I can at least get to the front edge of that one that I'm tucked in behind. Have a look at that. That's actually the roof structure Somebody has gone in here and cleaned it up and treated it with rust preventative, and it's actually worked. But far out, those are some pretty big holes. Not sure what I'm going to do there. I knew this was going to be a slippery slope. All right, if I peel that back, there is a screw right here. And maybe if I take the two off the front edge of this thing, I can lever it up enough to get that one out. Wow, that is tight. Looks like I'm going to end up taking that center bar off. I'm really not keen on finding out what's underneath that thing. The head of that Phillips head was filled up with Sikaflex. Now, why would that be? Trying to work out what's holding this thing in place now. Rust, maybe? I think I can lever that trim up enough that I can get this bolt out now. Got him. Which now means I've got him. Which now means when I go to paint, I can get that entire pillar area. Well, I couldn't help myself. I was just too concerned about what was underneath of this. So I've taken the screws off, and I'm going to pull these panels off and have a look at the underside. Okay, these and this appear to be all one piece. Well, that's all right. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. After knowing what was under this front edge, the passenger side looks great. And where this roof skin welds down to this T-top is not bad either. Bit of surface rust, but that's about it. So I'll treat that and we'll call that a win. Far out. Now we can get this sort of A-pillar top molding trim piece off. There we go. That'll give me a clear run for paint. Now hopefully this back roof molding, or whatever we want to call it, is going to play the game. Note to self, if future me is watching this video, when I start to assemble this car, put these moldings in place first before any of the T-top components. Okay, Mr. Molding, what is holding you on now? Time and crankiness? Looks like there's some sort of adhesive behind it. It's coming, just got to go gently, gently. Previous owner did a lot of work to this car, but this molding's never been off. No way. Now I've got to pull a couple of these internal trim pieces off to get the weather stripping off, which will allow me to get the external steel trim pieces off. Hopefully I can just do a couple of the bolts on this. Lever the top out of the road. Yep, I think I'll be able to do that. All right, this rubber has got two Phillips holding it in, as well as a lot of glue. This rubber can pull out now, which now allows me to get to these three bolts holding this trim on. Screws, bolts, whatever you call them. Now once I get that one off, and this one's held down with a little bit of foam, and one screw right at the bottom of it. There we go. Now I'm pulling this rubber off to get the front B-pillar trim pieces off. That's got two screws holding it in there. It peels out of this A-pillar. Now this trim has got four screws holding it in. That allows me to get that one off, which reveals one screw on this trim piece. I think there's two actually. I think there's one at the very base of it as well. Nope. That's it. And then this tiny little trim piece has a screw holding it in. And that'll allow me to get to this A-pillar and tape it up properly. I don't know whether the camera can pick it here. There's the original metallic paint here. This is the color that I'm shooting for. This color that they sprayed on all the panels is massively wrong. And the reason I suggest that this is still original is that they were too lazy to tape that off, and they didn't even spray that. They just left that the original color. Next up comes our driver's side sill plate. I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but these are held on with Robertson screws. And I don't know of any other country other than Canada that ever has used Robertson. All right, except for the lock, the door handle, the mirror, and this trim piece on the top of the door, all of which I've put in the two hard basket at the moment. This car is completely stripped down and ready for the bodywork. I won't replace either the front or the rear glass until after I'm done painting, just in case I were to get a little bit of overspray on the glass. Because these are trash, it doesn't really matter. So let me contemplate that door and we'll check back in a bit later. Next day, Still don't have the intestinal fortitude to take that door on. So I'm gonna move over to the roof and do these rust repairs. This is a double skin here, and this outside skin you can see has got a little bit of rot through it. So I think I can get away with 2 patch panels, one here and one here. I'll actually probably need a third one there. Over on the driver's side in this same location, no problem. This little drip rail here, however, is rotted out, so I'm gonna need to make a patch panel for that one as well. Okay, chop it time. Those little holes have cleaned up quite nicely. It's good to see that back in behind this panel, that second skin there hasn't rotted out. It's got a little bit of surface rust on it, which I'll clean up and treat, but it's good. So I'll make myself 3 Morse code patches. Dash, dash, dash. Okay, patch panel construction time. Got myself a pair of snips and a little bit of spare steel. 1 patch panel. That'll work for that one. That'll work for that one. And that'll work for that one. Now I've got all 3 of my patches made. I'm gonna hold them in place with a little magnet like that. Got the MIG ready to go, and I got a big welding blanket laying down in the base of the car so I don't start it on fire. Put my welding gloves on. There we go, impenetrable. That's patch panel number 1 tacked in place. Patch panel number 2 tacked in place. And number 3 tacked in place. All right, I'll fully weld those and we'll come back when I'm finished. Okay, I got my patch panels all welded in. I took that really slow because I didn't want to get any heat into this roof and warp it. They look pretty ugly because they are. I'm gonna dress them up and get that surface there as straight as a die. There we go, that's dressed up quite nicely. I'll rust protect that, we'll call that done. All right, I got rust converter sprayed down on all the T-tops after I dressed the rust up with a wire wheel. That all looks good. So what do you reckon's next? Should I take that door on? Okay, time to man up and tackle this door. The reason I've been so reluctant is I don't have any 12 volt hooked up to the car, so the door is in its up position and I can't get it down, you know, to line the bolts up into these holes. That's 1. 2, there are 5 bolts holding this glass in. Just look at the nastiness. Look at the grease smeared on that window mechanism. And look at the goo inside of there, which is that rust preventative that's been sprayed everywhere. So I am going to be up to my neck in shit. I have absolutely no doubt about it. All right. This is not a bolt holding the glass. This is a window stop that's got to be removed and get out of the road. That's that one there. And it kind of hooks in like this. Okay, my first bolt I can get to reasonably easily. Just a little 10 mil bolt that bolts through the, looks like the window track, the power window track. I suppose one good thing about everything snotted up in grease like this is the fasteners should come off reasonably easily. If the rest are like this one, number 1. Now I think these 2 window felts have got to come off. They basically push up against the window and make sure that it runs true to this whisker strip here. Ah, that's how they come out. You just gotta kind of lever them around the corner. Let's try that on this guy. Yep, that's it. Nice. And I'll put a number 1 there, and a number 1 on this guy, and I'll put a 2 there, and I'll put a number 2 on this guy. Hopefully I can remember how this whole shooting match goes back together. Looks like that little pin is the door stop. Now I'll put an arrow to the front. Just like that, and I've marked that number 3, and I'll put a 3 on my door. There we go. Now I know where that sucker goes. Now that one there appears pretty easy to get to. That'll be bolt number 2. I gotta be so very careful and mark everything on this window glass because obviously the other side got shattered to bits. So I need to use this as my template for the other side. And if I don't know what I'm doing here, I'm screwed. There's another one of those window stops, this time for the back edge of the glass. Oh wow, that sucker was loose. do the same thing. Mark this one and mark this one, and I'll mark the top. Okay, I can feel my next two. They're about here in this position. I can't see them, so I'm just gonna have to use the force. There's one. Yeah, that takes the rail off that the glass sits inside of. Interesting. Now I found number 5, if indeed there are 5, and that last bolt is at the back edge of this long window track. Critical moment trying to get bolt without dropping it indoor, getting attacked by dogs. I got it. There she is. Okay, I think this glass is free. Excellent. Now I'll pop my 5 nuts back onto this door glass so that I don't end up losing them. Then we'll scooch back over to that door and see whether we can get off those remaining trim pieces and maybe even that mirror if we're lucky. Okay, next item on the agenda is to remove this door handle. These things always fail on the G-body. They got a little spring there that holds them down. And for whatever reason, that spring breaks. So they work, but they flap in the breeze. Now I've got a replacement handle, but I still got to get this sucker out of here if I want to get a good shot of paint in behind it. 2 10mm bolts holding it on. One down, one to go. And number 2, one door handle. Mechanism that holds the door lock in. There's our door lock. That leaves our mirror. Oh yes, I am happy to report that both of those bolts holding that mirror on are easily accessible with the glass out. That's a happy day. There's our second bolt. All right, that's off, but what does that get me? You can tell that mirror wasn't off when they did the respray on the car. Look at all that. It's all rough and full of dry overspray. Now I'm going to pull the mirror out. It's got to come out anyway so that I can paint this housing. But hopefully when I get that mirror out of there, I can disconnect that power mirror cable. It's power mirrors in quotation marks because they're not really power. They're just run by a cable to the hand switch. That's 2. There's one more. Now I've got that far. What next? This is looking inside that door, and there's a little hole there where the end of my screwdriver is pointing. And in that hole was located that little connector holding this whole thing in place. There's our connector. And there's our actuator. It's funny how things that you don't anticipate being the most difficult are usually the killers that sneak up on you. That just leaves one more thing on this door, and that's this bit of trim here. And now that I've got the glass off, I can access the screws that hold it in place. Is that it? Looks like there's one more screw holding that trim on right up here in the front corner. It's hidden behind a bit of this weather stripping. Okay, is that it? Something still got us hung up on the back here. I think it's just time and crankiness. That's it. Awesome. Here's what was holding that in place. Somebody put a daub of silicone sealant or something on the back edge of that strip. That's the original paint. They just simply taped that off when they did the bodywork on this. Nice. That door is nicked. Well, that's it. This little puppy is now ready to get sanded back in preparation for the primer and the paint. I'm going to call this video here. So you might think I'm jumping around a little bit, but the main cap bolts that I've been waiting for have come in. I'm going to get that motor rebuilt, get it back into this car so that I can drive it in and out of the shed here when I'm doing the body work. I want to save my foo-foo valve and not be pushing this sucker in and out. So let's jump back to the motor, get it assembled, and get that donk in. From Crunchy and I, keep the shiny side up, everybody. See you next time. Bye now.